Hi, it's Gadget UK here again. Just looking at this Sega Saturn again. One of the things I've not shown off camera here is the CD. I believe there's a problem with the CD unit. Previously, on the last video, I did sort of briefly show there the disk access light was flashing. There was no signs of the thing spinning. I suspected that maybe the laser couldn't see the disk, so adjusted the spindle height here. This pulls up and down. I'll show you that later because I'm going to need to adjust that again. And I did adjust the laser voltage pot there just slightly. Nothing, still wouldn't see the disc. Went a bit more in each direction, still nothing. No signs of rotation at all. Obviously this was after I got a controller and, you know, put a game in there and stuff, and it just wasn't doing anything. The drive lid sensor is taped on this. I didn't realise. So someone's been using this in the past to do, you know, the hot swap trick where you know, let's say you tape the sensor, you can then have the drive door open and you can see the disc spinning, take the disc out, put another disc in, and that's what they've been doing, I think, previously. So the motor seems to work. I did put a bit of an AA battery on that, so that's fine. So all it leaves really is the laser itself. So I've got a replacement laser here. Can either got fit in this. First thing I need to do is get this assembly off here. And looking at this, it's taken me a few minutes to work this out, but there seems to be no way of getting access to the actual, you know, to get this bar out. But if you just look at the plastic here, it's a case of, I think you just got to bend this bit down like that and then slide this bar out by putting a little bit of pressure with something small on this side, and then it should be able to at least free it from here, and then hopefully it should lift out. But I need to disconnect that ribbon down there as well, off the board, and I think that should be it. I might need to swap over this bit. I probably will do this tooth piece, but I'm not going to be able to do that obviously until I get the bar out, so let's have a go at that. So you can see there what I've just done is I did just bend that little bit back there, just a little bit, and push the bar like that, and it's come through here. And then at this point might be able to push it back. Not sure here, might damage this if I'm not careful. Might be better off just pushing it all the way through, I think, in retrospect. There we go. So hopefully this now should lift. There we go. And obviously I need to just disconnect this ribbon down here, so I have to try and carefully do that. There we go, that's the assembly off there. So as I said, this black piece of plastic, that's going to need to come off because this one hasn't got that on. Just clips off, I think. Might have to break that bit of glue off there because that might stop it from going all the way through, but in theory it's just these little clips I need to be careful with, I think. Yeah, so that came off pretty easy. It's just a case of pushing very carefully the little plastic clips there, as you just lever it one way, lever it the other, just gradually, and it should come off. So I can now fit that onto the new assembly. Just give a quick look at this. I did look at this before for any static solder points that need removing, but I couldn't see any anywhere. Yeah, as far as I can see, there's no. Oh, yeah, that might be one. Not sure if that's one there. Let's just compare to this one. Yeah, it is. There you go. Now this might help other people, because I know Beeps has got a problem with one of his CD assemblies he's working at the moment. It'd be very easy to miss that and go, okay, there's nothing wrong, you know, it doesn't need anything doing to this. But clearly, if you compare the new to the old there, that is definitely the anti-static blob. So it's a good job I just did a last minute check on that. I'll put this piece on first and then I'll desolder that blob. The other thing I'm going to do here before I desolder that blob, you see these, they're very, very small, the little legs of the laser diode there. I'm just going to bend them just a tiny bit away from each other because they're too close for my liking. There is the way it's got shipped or manufactured or whatever. There you go, they're separated. You probably won't be able to see that. I'll just zoom in a bit and bear in mind that these are now separated a fair bit from where they were. Can you see those? Yeah, they were about 50% closer than that, those three. pins there. So I'll just remove the solder bridge and install it. So there we go, solder bridge removed, reinstalled. Dead straightforward really. It's a lot simpler than I thought that was going to be. So I'll now fit that back in the Saturn, and it's a Dreamcast Saturn, and we'll give it a go. Right, well this is interesting. No effect at all, none whatsoever. The spindle here, that is still not moving at all. The head assembly obviously moving around, the laser assembly is going up and down. I haven't adjusted the voltage pot because that was set exactly the same way the previous one was, so I guess someone's optimised that for the exact right voltage, 800 millivolts or whatever it's required. So I'm not going to adjust that. I don't see any point. I double check the ribbon cables, I'll double check the assembly where this goes to. I don't see any signs of damage there, and I actually think that's okay. I think the logic part of this is okay, just based on the fact the head assembly is moving okay. I mean, there could be other problems with the logic here. There could be something wrong with the way it decodes the data, you know, from the laser, or a buffer or something in there, or even the logic that controls the motor. But that was my next port of call, really, to look at, to understand the motor, you know, what's going on with the motor. And I do remember I tested with the battery. I thought I'll just double check, and I just put the meter, which you can do yourself, over the two contacts of the battery there, and just measure resistance, and you've got like pretty much a short, you know, like 0.2 ohms or something. That's right. It's you've got a coil around there, so that's correct. It's not open circuit, so that just supports the fact that the motor's very likely okay. Well, I've seen it going round, so it's definitely okay. But then the next port of call here was just looking at some of the logic on this board here, just looking for dry joints, any signs of damage, etc. On both sides. And one of the things that caught my eye here, and this is from my printer days, experience in printer days, you'll notice this little chip here. It's like a dip, almost a shrink dip actually, type package, and it's a BA6798S, which is some sort of quad BTL driver chip. And the reason, coming back to what I was saying about my printer days, when I worked on printers many years ago, that sort of thing there where you've got the two holes in either side, you see them typically, it's a driver chip. You know, you've got sort of high current, you know, a higher current than normal, sort of, that would go through a normal sort of chip and stuff, and they're designed for driving motors and things like that. And straight away I was like, oh, okay, right, let's put this facts together here. The spindle was pressed down, the CD lid has been taped shut, someone's been doing the whole swap disc thing on this, and typically, you know, that involves stopping the motor whilst it's engaged, you know, and then while that little chip there's driving it, which inevitably puts high current through there for, you know, short periods of time, and continuous use there, you'll either destroy the motor or destroy the driver chip. So putting two together, I'm suspecting very much that's that chip. Now I went a stage further and started looking at how that chip is actually wired on the board here, and you might not be able to see this really, but yeah, the two motor control pins basically go to this chip. I think both of them do actually. The ground goes round in a circle, I think comes back down here and probably connects to the common ground with this chip as well. So I do believe, my gut feeling is it's that chip, it's going to be that chip. So I'll just quickly show you here how you can test the motor, just using a AA battery here, and you can use AAA batteries on some of these. It depends on the current that's required by the motor. This one does need an AA. I tried a AAA and that wouldn't work, and it's just a case of holding one contact onto one side of the motor, one pin on the motor underneath, and then the other onto the other, and hopefully if I hold this in the right place you should be able to see it rotate. See it going round? So the motor is fine. I've just ordered one of those chips, so I'll show you on the PC now so you can have a quick look at the data sheet. So there you go. Apologies for the ripple there, it's the refresh rate on the screen, but as you can see it's 4-channel BTL driver, BA6798S. Funnily enough, I did a quick search on this and I found a video on YouTube, and I thought, oh, someone's had the same fault. I think it's Shane McRetro, an Aussie guy, I think. I've watched a few of his videos, it seems quite good, and on that occasion it didn't fix his problem. The problem he had was the laser assembly was moving erratically, and the drive, you know, the rotation thing for the actual disc there was moving erratically, you know, in a sort of uncontrolled manner. It, you know, up, down, you know, the little head assembly would move forwards and backwards, you know, right to the top, right to the bottom, in a random sort of sequence there. And I think the mistake there was that, you know, that's not going to be a driver fault. So this is not going to be this driver chip. think in his case he's got a problem with the logic on the board there somewhere, one of those little Sony chips or something, the square flat packs. That's going to be the fault that he had with that. But in my case, I really believe this is going to solve it. Now, fingers crossed, you know, I could be wrong. Obviously, I haven't done any work with the scope on this. I haven't really measured anything. I'm just going off logic, really, to a degree here in terms of what I'm seeing, symptoms and potential causes. And I do believe that the swap disk trick thing that someone's done previously on this is what's destroyed one of the transistors on this chip. And if we scroll down, let's see if we can get a bit of a zoom in here. Yeah, you've got like little op-amp type things there for amplifying. Yeah, and there's 4 of them. So scroll down a bit further. Yeah, you've got some pin equivalent stuff to the diagrams here. Driver output. Yeah, you see sort of like a Darlington pair type transistor arrangements of things inside there. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the transistors is just completely gone as a result of the excess current from jamming the motor whilst someone's been swapping the discs. So I mean, time will tell. Could be completely wrong. Could be talking bollocks again. Take what I say with a pinch of salt. This could be the first repair video I've done where I end up having to get just a replacement drive. I mean, there's more things I can do yet. There is a service diagram for, you know, a service manual for the Sega Saturn, and I will be using that later to check some of the values there, the tolerance levels and things on, or the configuration, I should say, really, on that drive. You can adjust various, you know, there's 4 or 5 pots on there, and there's a good series of diagrams and things and tell you exactly what to adjust, so I might have a go at tweaking that. But for the moment, I'm going to leave the laser exactly as it is. I'll just temporarily just, you know, put it all back together in a corner somewhere, and I'll order one of these BA6798S chips. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.